Hey guys! Okay, let me see. Welcome to the live chats. I hope that I am live. I think that I am. It says I am. I'm gonna go ahead and make an announcement to my Discord people. Let's see. Okay. I really needed to do this previously. Oh no. I'll get better at this as we go. Where am I putting this? Where's my just chatting? Okay, so the goal is to jump on and have a little bit of discussion about like what I plan to do as far as content on here. Ooh, music is very loud. Hey Tuco! Hey homie! How are you doing, Tuco? Are you off today? Like how are you hanging out with me today? Why is the music so darn loud? Let me turn this down in my ears. Blasting out. How is the music on your end? Is it bad? Does it need to be up? Okay, so proud of myself. I did the book live. I think it turned out okay. Like, I definitely need to come up with a better system. But I'm excited, because I think that the reason why I'm coming on today to talk about like spiritual topics and try to figure out like what kind of content we want is because this is going to be the main driving force of like spiritual content that I'm making, especially like ones related to the book. We have you have an audit, so we're not allowed to do anything until it's over. So yeah, turn it up a little bit. Okay, turn it up a bit. How's that? Is that better? Turn it up like halfway. There we go. Yay! So I jumped on, see, talked about book, and we did 4 aspects of self. It's like I've got this little thing that I'm writing in every day to hold myself accountable, to like show like what I did and what I went live for. Perfecto! Yay! Thank you. Okay, so and then at book sales, I'm gonna put 0 book sales, and then we'll go into today at 2 p.m. and we're going to be talking about content, spiritual content. Spiritual content. Like, what do you think that we should make into spiritual material? So there's a lot of material in the book, right? And I'm trying to like decide. It seems that the 4 aspects of self seems to be my go-to. So if I was to do like a content video, I could probably do a content video on just the 4 aspects of self, and I could probably record it while I'm live on here, or I could just do it on the side, and I'm trying to figure it out because I have like scheduled time put aside for content, but I stayed up until 3 a.m. last night working on that Raven animation, which I think it turned out well, but I can tell you I've destroyed my sleep schedule. So I wasn't able to make content today. I slept through my scheduled content hours. Let me I'm definitely jumping into this like full time, like trying to push real hard into making sure that like I'm treating this like a full-time job. But unfortunately, as an entrepreneur, that means that you have to schedule time off more than you do, because otherwise it's just working 24/7. So like I have like a certain point where like I try not to look at my text messages or my Discords, and you probably noticed that. I do that like in general. Like I try to like clock out at a specific time to make sure, yeah, that I don't do anything after like 9 p.m. and that way like I make sure I sleep. You'll sleep at 9 p.m. and sometimes I get busy before 9 p.m. but then I don't then, because like 9 p.m. is about the time that I would normally lay down to go to sleep, but now that I'm doing like the freaking TikTok thing or the Twitch thing at 10 p.m., what am I doing with my life? Like my sleep schedule is so messed up. Oh my gosh! Hey, it's Realist, Clown Professor. What? Professor? What? Realist, your name is Clown Professor. Sleep, what's that? I know, right? That's what I'm feeling right now. But I think that I'm still gonna do that, like, between a certain amount of hours. I schedule off from, like, checking my emails, my text messages, and my Discords. And then I also, like I said, as an entrepreneur, like, trying to schedule your time off is more challenging than scheduling the time on. But that's why this schedule is so interesting, because like I have like, okay, you're supposed to be doing like content creating at this time, you're supposed to be doing this at this time, and today, like, because I stayed up until 3 a.m. working on that Raven animation, like I didn't hit my content thing, so I have to do it later today. So I'm bummed about that. Yeah, it's funny, Clown Professor. It gives me a little bit more idea of your personality. But let me get rid of that Twitch counter, because like it's literally doing nothing up there. Like we're not on Twitch, so it doesn't make sense. Let's remove it. Because like we're not on Twitch, we're on YouTube, so of course it's 0 from Twitch. That makes no sense. Okay, so what kind of like Realist, we're talking about like what kind of content we would like to see, like as far as like content videos, and I think what we should start with, I'm gonna write it down, is the 4 aspects of self, because that seems to be my go-to. So I'll make a YouTube video on the 4 aspects of self to start. So that'll be like video 1, right? Because I said like you can't do certain things without that one. So video idea, I'm just gonna call it that, and I'm not gonna say video 1 because video ideas. 4 aspects of self. Should probably do one on the Clairs, right? And then I can yell at people and be like, go watch the 4 aspects of self first. Clairs 5 senses. And I should probably do one on empath. That would be a fun one to do, like a panel, like connected to empath. Like talk about like empath, and then like maybe we can do a panel, and just you guys talk about your experiences as an empath. I don't know if you guys want to do that. Like, it would be like permanently on the YouTube video talking about empathic. Empath. Empath. Let's talk about Oracle, obviously. Psychic. Oh, and it just sucks because a lot of this I'm going to end up putting out charts in which I don't want to necessarily put out from the book. They're going to start circulating anyway if the book gets any ground. That's why I kind of feel like the other thing that I should be working towards is doing ones that I'm not like worried about the content growing legs as quicker than the book. So probably like doing one on like how to use a tarot deck. Like how to tarot, right? And they say do one on pages 52 and 53, meeting the shadow self. Ooh, that's a good one. Let's write that one down too. So, meeting the shadow self. And I could even draw that, because that would be really interesting, because like I had a full-on visual experience when I met my shadow self. All the repressed aspects of self, like trying not to smile, shyness, hair in front of my face, uncombed, naked, because naked is a vulnerability that we don't want people to see, right? I was skin and bones because I get made fun of for being overly skinny. I have a hard time gaining weight, so that like repressed self was like skin and bones, like you could see the ribs through the skin, and that's something that I have a lot of self-conscious issues with. So like it was very visual for me. Couldn't really see the face very well just because the hair was in front of the face. That's something that I did as a teenager, was hide behind my hair to try to hide my face because I thought it was ugly. And like I didn't like making eye contact with people, and I now realize, because I was a very spiritual person, eyes are the windows to the soul. So I was feeling invaded. So when I was looking in people's eyes, like directly, like I was feeling energetically invaded. So I think like doing this was giving me a level of comfort. And I would have done this, but I think my mom would have been very angry with me. But it's funny because Monk actually was talking about this. He's bald now, so you can't really imagine this. But Monk actually, he has pictures of himself. Like, I need to show this picture of him. He's got this huge like afro thing, and he's got his hair in front of both eyes, like this. And it was a discussion that him and I had about like how he felt energetically invaded by everyone all the time, and he has that reflection too, that he was doing the same thing. He was hiding behind his hair because it was giving him a level of like comfort and barrier between him and others. So it's really weird. Do you guys do anything like that? Did you do anything about like covering your eyes with your hair at all, or like with a hoodie? Do you guys do anything like that? Like it's interesting because I don't think that I've had this conversation outside of just me and Monk, because that's something that I weirdly did, and then I found out he weirdly did. Did you guys ever try to cover your face? Try to hide your eyes? Connecting to your guides. Ooh, connection to guides. Let's write that one down too. Connection to your guides, because that is a common one too that a lot of people ask. This elbow is getting old. Oh no. The question is, what does that mean to you? Like, is there something that you're being forced to look at? Like, they're showing me 1-3, which is beginning of a self-love or concept of self. Is there something that you're supposed to be doing that you're kind of like not doing right now for yourself? Hoodie, definitely. Tuco, yeah. Like hiding the face. Yeah, it's interesting because I think that energetically we're feeling something, so subconsciously we're trying to hide our energetic selves in the ways that we can on a material level, to kind of like pull that energy back away from others. So it's interesting, to say the least. But no, I really like these ones because people are constantly asking, like, how do I know if I'm connecting to my guides? I definitely want to avoid trickster spirit talk until much later, because I don't want to scare people. Like, the focus should always be to spread love, and to be cautious with spreading fear, especially. So I want to be like careful with certain content. Like, I think it's okay to read about that stuff in the spiritual ecosystem part of the book, but like first and foremost always connection in a loving manner before spreading. Well, you gotta just awareness of frequency is what I chose to do in the book, talking about like defining factors, defining symbology towards frequency of your guide, so you know that that guide is that guide. So like feeling that frequency and then coming up with a defining symbol within your mind, and then so that way every time you have that, you feel that frequency, trying to visualize that particular symbol that shows you that's that connecting guide. And if you can't connect that symbol, then that shows that like it might not be your guide. It might be a false frequency. Honestly, I don't know. Honestly, I've been learning the elbow and the nerve under the shoulder blade is, and hey, pay attention, something's up, etc. Yeah, that might be what it is. As a corporalist, I talk about like, well, just in general, but with my corporalism specifically, the energy burn thing. I didn't know what that was. Like, I would feel a burn on something, and then I would have to like pay attention to like what was happening in my environment, like what I was thinking, what was coming through. And then I finally determined that an energy burn usually meant something was important. Or if I picked up a book, it was like, this is full of lies. And I had to pay attention to not only like the actual feeling as a corporalist, but like the underlying subconscious emotions that I felt along with that. And that's why I talk about like you still have the 4 other aspects of self when you are viewing the corporalist. Like when you're getting that like that initial burn through your hands, like yes, that is sensing clairtactus, but that's why it's a peak, because then I have to look to the other peaks to determine what that means. Like, what does that burn mean? And I'm getting like chills. So like I'm being told that yes, this is correct. But so I feel that burn, and then I look to the other peaks to determine what that burn means. So emotionally, if I feel ick, that's a lie. So when I touch something, I touch a book and I feel that, that's a lie. And I'm like, ew, that's a lie. And then I determine through distinctly feeling that pattern again and that ick, that's a lie. So that's something I'm feeling, my clairtactus, and then I'm also feeling that's a lie. And then through determining other things, like I'll get a burn, and then something feels like elevated, like this, like it feels like a jerk or a pull. That's usually some of an importance, right? So when I feel that burn, and then it comes with an energetic, like determined, hey, this is a message that you need to pay attention to. Like focus is the main energy and the main emotion behind it, and that is a strong message coming through. When I experience an energy burn, it can sometimes be a warning. So if I pick up a book, say from Goodwill, and there's a lot of gross energy on it, like I don't know why I keep picking books up at Goodwill, but like especially the self-help books, for some reason, not all of them, just like the ones that actively were being used, people will pour a lot of their emotional selves into a book, and then they get rid of it at Goodwill. I think a lot of it is because people have passed away and stuff like that, because like a lot of the ones that I get really bad energy burns from, to say, ew, there's a lot of energy in this, like, ew, you know, so it's not a lie, it's like, the other one was like an ick. When it's foreign energy, it burns in a way to as a warning, like be careful, like it's a be careful burn. So that is like when I'm touching it and I feel that, then I know that there's a lot of energy connected to that, and then I connect to my empathic side to be like, oh, I'm determining that's a stain. Somebody really put a lot of energy into this book, and it's got a lot of foreign energy on it, and I don't want to touch it anymore because I don't want to absorb that energy. So that's why it's a warning, because it's like the energy is trying to flow up through the fingers, because these are your ins, this is your out, and then this is an in and out. So like when I'm touching things with my fingers, I have to be very careful with what I'm letting into the self. And that's why touch is really interesting when it comes to the energetic self, especially as a corporalist. But anyway, I went off on a huge thing. Let's see. So yeah, so to determine what you're feeling with the elbow, like try to, when you are feeling it at its peak, what is the emotion behind it, and where are the other aspects of self? Like, are you not taking care of your body? Is there something that you're being yelled at for, especially since they're saying beginning concept of self, or beginning of caring for the self? Like, I think it might be a little bit under that lines of like, are you really making the right decisions for yourself? And I'm getting that's not quite right. So they're saying that's not quite right. So you're gonna have to make that discernment, because I'm not quite there, is what they're saying. Like, close. They're giving me this little, what is that? What it, poquitos. Like, what is that word for Spanish? Why are they giving me Spanish? Like, I don't understand. But, the word for little, like, I'm gonna look it up real quick. What is that Spanish word for little?
Pequeño.
Pequeño. Or poco. Okay, I was like kind of close, but not close at all. Well, poquito. I thought it was. Maybe, I don't know. Like awareness to of something, what I don't know. Yeah. Just paying attention to like the overall feeling that you have, like when you are experiencing it, and then paying attention to what's going on around you. Yeah. And then also trying to pay attention to the energetic self too, because it might be an attack. And when I say attack, like that again, have awareness of self. And sometimes you can push that energy off. Like I don't like push it off, because if you're experiencing pain, and it's painful, and you feel like it's energetically painful, push it away. Like, and sometimes, because I don't think that your guides would actively mean to do harm. I know that my guides sometimes would squeeze to try to get me to feel something that they're doing. Like, so, like, you know, like touching you on the shoulder like this is only going to go so far. Sometimes they'll have to like really jab you and then you're like, oh, I feel that. But the goal isn't to do harm or hurt, you know, it's to, hey, I'm trying to get you to pay attention. So like I am poking you, but you don't pay attention when I'm poking you slightly, so I have to poke you hard. But once I get established to understanding and listening to the small pokes, they're going to get less violent, is not the word I'm looking for, but the less intrusive maybe is the word I'm looking for. Because I know that one of the feelings that I get is like sometimes like a tickle or like a brush. Like I'll feel something brush and then I'm like, okay, I know what that means. I have developed that and I'm paying attention, so I know what that means. So that's why, like, as a corporalist, it's about like paying attention to the sensations and trying to define what those things are through patterns. Like, what are your guides trying to say with this? So the elbow thing, it's definitely something, pay attention. I think, but center yourself is what they're saying. So I don't know what that is, Tuco, but they're saying center yourself. Center yourself to determine. Yeah. When you're feeling that, center yourself and then evaluate. Hi, Monk! Thank you guys for coming in. We are sitting here trying to figure out what we should include as far as like videos. So far we have the 4 aspects of self needs to be a video. Corporalist, and the 5 clairsenses, empath, oracle, psychic, mediums. This is like obviously right. Meeting the shadow self was a great idea by Realist. I love that. And then Tuco put in his advice on the connection to your guides. And I think that the pattern deduction, I'm gonna add that pattern deduction in the connection to your guides. Deduction. Because that's a part of like connection to the guides, is trying to determine patterns. Well, hello, good sir. Love the haircut. Yeah, I did it right before I jumped onto YouTube. It was bothering me. I looked at the VOD on TikTok and I was like, man, it's getting a little shaggy. Like, I need to go shave that before I jump on again. It was getting a little long. It feels weird when it's that long, and it doesn't read well. It just like sticks straight up, straight out like. So I had to get rid of it. But yeah, I have to keep shaving it because I love my patch. I don't know that I'll ever not have my head shaved because of that little patch. You know, when I gray completely, I don't think I'll need to have my hair shaved on the side anymore because you won't be able to see it. So I guess enjoy it while you can, because when my hair starts to gray completely, I will probably just grow my hair out on both sides. Okay, so let's do another video. I want to do a video on the runes, like each specific rune. Each rune. So if I was to do each rune, there's 27 runes, and then I could do each rune, and then I could go into the history of it, and then I can go into, as a medium, my translation of the rune. So it would be really cool, because I could go into like Rideau and like history and what historians believe, like what they believe the interpretation is, and then I can go into as my interpretation as a medium, and the energetic sense of like how I believe that words have lost their meaning in translation. Going into my interpretation of that rune. And I think that'd be kind of cool, doing that with all 27 runes. And then doing another video of the mistranslation runes. Mistranslation of runes, and then the runic web. So, I mean, the only thing that sucks about it is, like, I feel like doing all these types of videos, like, it's definitely going to... I hope people will still buy the book, I guess is my concern. Because if I'm showing the charts and I'm doing the videos, like, what's the incentive to buy the book? But I think the hope is that people will still want to try to actively support me in some way. So I don't think I can be worried about that, because I think it's more important to spread the knowledge than it is to worry about that. I just worry about my charts disappearing and being used in other people's content and then bastardized. Like, that's my biggest concern, is that as I'm putting this stuff out online, that somebody's going to steal my chart, and then they're going to, like, talk about stuff unrelated to that chart, stealing the chart, and then, like, taking it in a perversion of the message. And that's my biggest concern about doing any of this, to be honest. But I don't think that I can necessarily worry about that, because it's kind of human for people to see something that resonates and then to take it their own direction. Even if it's not a direction I want it to go. And I don't think that I can necessarily worry about that, because if I worry about that, I just will stop here. I just will stop pushing out my content, stop trying. Because it can feel debilitating. Because people are like, oh, I really like this, but I'm going to throw out all this other content, because I don't like that. We all do it. Like I said, there's book recommendations that I used to read that I do not recommend at all anymore. And there's small, like I was talking about You're Psychic, the book, and I only agree with 10% of the book. And there are common themes that I learned through trying to use that 10% that I needed at the time to protect myself in a scenario of, like, trying to remove energy from myself when I was being under spiritual attack. And I had no resources, and that book became a saving grace for me, and it became a jumping off point for me to learn how to truly protect myself. So I am so grateful for that book, and so that's why there's still a part of me that's like, if you were looking for material beyond myself, because that's where all, like, trying to figure it out, right? You might resonate with part of her messaging, and that might change. But, like, so I need to have, like, a book recommendation channel. I worry about reviewing other people's book content, otherwise I would do that. Because as somebody that's wrote a book, I think it's in bad taste to review other people's books. So I probably won't do that. Top number, Miss Misconceptions about spirituality. Ooh, I like that, realist. Top 10. I'm gonna do top 10. There's a lot of misconceptions. And even, while we were on the live earlier, there was somebody that was like, you have a long way in your, you know, you have a lot more growth to do. And I'm like, excuse me? Like, no, I think they said that I have a lot of illusions that I need to get through. And I'm like, that's just how people are. Within the spiritual community, everybody thinks that they're more enlightened than anyone else. And if I was to say the top 10 misconceptions about spirituality, I would say that that is one of the biggest, is that people shut off and they think that they're the most enlightened person in the room, and then they miss out on true enlightenment, because true enlightenment is about the continuation of learning and challenging and addressing perspectives as well as knowledge, and never stop allowing the challenge. Like, so the thing is, I develop a foundation of what I believe, and yes, I'm not going to let that topple over, but I should allow challenge to it. So if somebody wants to say, I don't like what you said, I believe this instead, and then I try to take that instead, and then I try to look at the foundation of what I have, and then I use that to challenge the inside of mine. So they're not challenging me, I'm challenging myself. I'm taking what they observe, and then I'm taking what I observe, and then I'm kind of wait while we try to reconnect. Oh, it's reconnected. Oh my gosh. Top 10 facts about spirituality most practitioners don't know. Ooh, realist, that is a slippery slope. That is a slippery one. I would totally do that, but it would cause so much people throwing stuff at me. I'm gonna read that again though. Top 10 facts about spirituality most practitioners don't know. Yeah, I probably won't do that one, because like I worry about the slap in the face that might produce by too many people. Because I think they don't ever want to think that they don't know something. You know what I mean? They all want to believe that they're all knowing in the spiritual community, and that's kind of the problem. Like, everybody thinks they're the most enlightened person in the room, like I said, and they don't allow challenge to their belief systems. And that's the problem with people that feel enlightened anyway. Not just people that are spiritual or practitioners, but also people that are spiritually enlightened, and like through religion. People that feel like they're fully enlightened, they shut off, and then they kind of stop taking in new information. So one of the things that I've had to come to terms with is that I'm not here to teach the people that are enlightened. I'm here to teach the people that need guidance. I'm trying to be a guide for those that may need that guidance, and be a lighthouse that I am. And if people choose to see that beacon or that lighthouse and go, you know what, that looks like a good place to go. Like this looks like a place in which I want to follow. I align with whatever that energy is, and then help people guide to the shore of themselves is what I'm trying to do. But some people, they feel like they're already enlightened. They could be in the middle of the sea and then going, I am the one that knows everything, but they don't know they're lost. They're not on the shores of themselves, and they are completely beyond, and they're stuck in the ocean screaming, I know everything! And like, the lighthouse is right there, but they still believe that they're on the shore. I can't convince them that they're lost. I can't tell them, hey, by the way, you're going to get toppled over when a storm comes, because you are still in the thick of it as far as waves, and when that water becomes stormy and thrashing around, you are not going to be in your little tiny boat. Like, that's not a good place to be. You need to come onto the shores of yourself. But they might think that their boat is everything. It is the whole world. You know, it's like the concept of the cave, right? The allegory of the cave. So the allegory of the cave is like, these people are born and raised in a cave, and they are chained up and like forced to look at a wall of shadow. And they believe that whole wall is existence. This 2D world that's created with light and shadow and puppets And that's what they think that it is. That's the allegory of the cave. So somebody escapes and they leave the cave and they see the entire world and they're like, holy crap, the world is so much bigger than this. And then they go back into the cave to release and save those that are stuck in that confinement. And as this allegory of the cave thing goes, is that he tries to release these people and then he tells them there's something beyond this cave, and they go, no, this is reality, and then they kill that person because they're like, no, this is reality, you're full of shit, and then they attack that person, and then that person dies trying to free the others. So like, they think that is reality, and I cannot change the reality. The shore is outside that cave. And so that's the allegory of the cave, and definitely look that up. I might have told it a little differently. That's just how I remember it, prospectively. But it's a really good story about like trying to understand that you might have found the true reality, but when you try to challenge other people's realities, it might result in you losing yourself to their conditioning. In-depth breakdown on light versus dark, high versus low frequency, and love versus fear. In-depth breakdown on light versus dark, high versus low frequency, and love versus fear. I do like that. I do like that. I would probably, I'm gonna write that down. Light versus dark. High versus low, and then love versus fear. The reason I like that is because I keep trying to tell people that light doesn't mean love, nor does dark mean fear. We see plenty of tactics of light beings using fear tactics as a means of control. We also see dark beings using aspects of love. I've also seen light beings use love as a means to try to control as well. Coming into spiritual attack, when a being tried to use love for the first time to infiltrate and destroy me, it was very conflicting. It hurt a lot because I thought that love was freeing, but love can also be confining, mattering on the way that it's being used. So that's why it's also a control versus freedom. So I'm going to write that down too, because so the reason why I'm putting that in there is because it's fake love, right? It's not true love, because true love would not be confining, it is freeing. True love is freeing, where false love and the promise of love is conditioning. It is a cage, it's a conditional cage. So that's why codependency, while it might feel good at the time while you're with that person, it is a conditional cage where you think that you have to have that person. That's not real love. That is conditional love. But yeah, so I put that in there too, because it's important when we're talking about the love versus fear, control versus freedom, all of that. I do like that one, I wrote it down. Maybe change to facts that few know. You know, that's not a bad idea, realist. Let's do that. Facts. Few practitioners. No. Well, and one of the things that I do want to talk about eventually, but it's going to take a little bit more of me getting into a better cleansing method, is talking about Reiki and subjects such as that, which I know that I will have a lot of people disagree with me on, but I definitely want to be in a better cleansing routine, a better, because it's a muscle. And when we don't work out that muscle, it does become more difficult. There for a while, I was cleansing every day, it was no big deal. I felt like it was like running 2 miles a day when like you're doing it consistently and it's no big deal. But when you stop for several weeks or several months and then you try to have that run again and you try to run that 2 miles, it's taxing. Um, Energetic cleansing is very similar to that. Like if I'm doing it every day, like I'm keeping that muscle toned and I'm developing that strength. But like currently I am on the lack side and I need to fix that. Which reminds me, so I should make an energy, let's do a hygiene, spiritual hygiene, VOD. Because spiritual hygiene is super important in talking about the reason for spiritual hygiene and how if we develop better skills to it, we could even go into the different forms of hygiene. And then I guess like I would just need to sit with the community and try to figure out which ones need to be behind a paywall, which VODs, and which ones, so which ones need to be privatized and then which ones can just be out to the public. And trying to figure out like which ones need to be, hey, you know, a class, and then these ones need to be less of a class and more of a just publicized, and just trying to determine like which ones, if any. Like I don't know. Like I really do think getting the content out is definitely goal priority, because like the more people that know how to take care of themselves energetically, the better. I think class ones, private sessions with teaching someone how to cleanse their aura would be more of a me cleansing their aura, which I've done before. So when I do aura cleansing, like I walk them through it, and I've told people this. I'm like, you are going to be cleansing your aura. I'm just going to be observing and helping and assisting you during the process. So I direct bridge to them, and then I like walk them through it. I've only done those sessions in person. I don't know what it looks like doing those online, especially like feeling attachments in someone's energy and then trying to remove them. I don't know why I have an apprehension to that. I think it's because I know that it requires astral projection, and it's something that like to observe up close like that, it takes a little bit of astral projection. And I don't know why I'm telling myself that. And maybe it's not astral projection at all. No, I don't think it is. I don't think it is, because I'm bridging to the person, just like mediumship. I should just be able to read their energy without astral projecting. I think that astral projection comes in when I'm checking out haunted houses and temples. Like when somebody's like, is there something in my house? That's where the astral projection comes in. I think that I'm just worrying for no reason now that I think about it. And I've asked my guides, I'm like, is it okay to cleanse people's auras from afar? And I haven't been getting the answer. I think it's because they were waiting for me to figure it out. I'm inside my head about that. So I can do aura cleansing online, because I'm still connected to myself. I'm bridging. I will just have to maintain the control of the bridge. So I'll need to strengthen my bridging technique in order to do aura cleansing, to make sure that nothing comes through their bridge that I don't want to come through, to protect myself. Because if they have an entity connection, it's easier to have them in person, because then I basically just pull back my bridge. I will just have to make sure I heighten my awareness before doing aura cleanses online, because that's something that I have had fear about doing since I've been doing aura cleansings and entity removal. And I don't even know why I'm worried, because this one lady was like, hey, by the way, I have an entity attached to me, and I was like, oh, please don't tell me that. And I walked her through on TikTok live how to, because I felt it, and I was like, okay, that's what this is, you just need to do this, and she did, and she removed it. And I don't know why I've been inside my head this whole time, because I've been doing it, I just didn't realize I was. That's just how that goes, right? That's just how it is. We just get inside our heads, and I have been doing it, because I've done it at least 2 times, because I had another lady, she said that there was an energy that wouldn't leave her alone. And then I checked in on her energy, and she had like an energetic stalker like in her aura, and I was like, just return his energy to him, because he did like a weird healing to her, like it was like a Reiki session, but like he like attached his energy to her. Like he was like inside her energy, like, and I think he was siphoning. And so he had built like an unfair like bridge and like bond to her energy so he could continue to siphon after he was like out of her energy. So like I had to teach her how to shut the door to keep him from being able to just take energy whenever he wanted. And that was an interesting thing because he was like speaking to me full on spiritually, so he was like a person attachment. So this is a living person like in her energy, and I had to like teach her how to shut him out, and he was not happy about being shut out, but like he didn't have, and I kept saying this to her, I don't think that he's aware. Like I do not think that he is on a conscious level aware of what he's doing. He's just desperate. Like he has like this loneliness and he's just attaching to anyone. And she goes, yeah, I did feel that. Like I did feel that. But yeah, so I've been helping, I guess, this whole time in that way. I just got inside my head. How to meet your guides. Ooh. I'm gonna change that slightly to who are my guides. Who are my guides? Because I get that one a lot. I get who are my guides a lot. And it's because, and the reason why I changed it from meet my guides to who are my guides is because our guides are with us in a very timeless way. As we choose different possibilities though, and that possibility of us ceases to exist. Say like we're at a crossroads, right? We're at a crossroads and I choose, say, to go left versus right, and on the path of the right, there was all of these energetic love connections that I was making, and in a timeless way, they were reaching to me, and then, but I had taken the path of the left instead of right. Then these guides no longer have that connection to me, because I chose the left path, which I might have different connections over here. It doesn't mean that there's any less, but like up until that point, up until that fork, both of those guides are able to reach through, if that makes sense. So as we make these different decisions and these different paths and possibilities, then we have possibility deaths, where we're like, that's no longer a possibility, so those particular guides aren't coming through as much. And they're definitely like poking me in the lips, so like, it's not like a shush, but it's a, it's not as nailed down as that. It's so much more complex, I think is what they're trying to say. Like don't try to think you're completely cut off from those possibilities of self, because the possibilities of self is still within you. So when you pass on and you take your life's journey, like you go through your life process, like processing the life that you had in this lifetime, and then after that you go into basically looking at the possibilities of self and all of the selves that could have existed. So it's like playing the what if game, but it's not a what if game. It's like you actually chose those paths, because in timelessness everything exists, nothing exists, and everything just keeps existing. So like it just keeps happening. So it's to say that like everything but nothing has happened. So like the paths in which you chose, like you see all of those infinite versions of self within you, and it is part of your journey. So I think that's why they were trying to say it's not quite nailed down specifically, because they're still a part of you, they're just at a distance. Okay, thank you. Like my guides are correcting me as I talk. I'm actually really grateful for the real-time updates from my guides. I wasn't able to do this like even a year ago. I used to have to do a meditation session. Like people would ask me questions and I would have to meditate for like an hour to like get answers. And now they interrupt me. I get real-time feedback and communication from them, which is really nice, because like before, like I said, I didn't get those before. And it's just about continuing to develop abilities, and like through pattern deduction. And I think they were always trying to talk to me, I just wasn't listening. I didn't have the pattern deduction to be like, hey, this press on your lip is like, hey, hold on a second. And then being able to feel, okay, you're nailing this down, you're making it too controlled, because you don't understand timelessness. Because I don't understand timelessness. I'm a timeless being. I'm a time being. I'm a being in time. I'm human. And understanding timelessness is going to be a forever thing, I think. Because they're still trying to explain timelessness to me, and they have been trying to explain to me timelessness for over 4 years. And I still don't get it. But anyway, eventually I'll make a VOD on it. Eventually, but not today. But anyway, I should probably jump off. I gotta go grab the kids. But I will be back on Twitch actually at 10 to work on some art related stuff again. I finally finished the Raven. So let me show you guys the Raven. I'm excited. I want to show you the Raven. Let me see. Let me pull up the Raven. Oh, I sent it to Monk because I didn't want to spam people in the middle of the night because I realized it was late and I was like, oh, I don't want to be sending stuff in the middle of the night and like upset people. Like, oh my gosh, Cassie, can you stop sending things at 3 AM? Yeah, but this is the Raven animation, so this is going to be for subs. So I'm pretty excited about it. I think it turned out pretty good. I'm pretty proud of it. It was difficult. But that's what I do, is I try to force myself into creating things that challenge me. And I complain the whole time. So if you were on any of these art streams while I was working on this, you probably heard me complain like a million times. But thanks guys for hanging out. I appreciate you. I really do appreciate Tuco, Realist, Monk for following me over here so I'm not talking to myself. Because I was like, what do I do if no one shows up? And I was thinking about it and I was like, well, I mean, I guess I could probably try to make content videos, or maybe I'll just talk about like what I want to do. But it's so much funner like brainstorming with people, so you are appreciated. Thank you. Looks really good. Oh, thank you. Yeah, I worked really hard on it. I was very proud of myself. It turned out better than what I thought it was going to, which I had. Sometimes I'm hard on myself. I don't know what my expectations were, but it was definitely like, I don't know. I was unsure, and I'm still sitting with like, maybe I should do more to it, and I was like, no, just don't overdo it. You have like all these other alerts to do, and you're learning as you go. So I'm probably going to move on. I probably am going to work at the Oracle deck tonight to take a break from animation, because like I said, cussing out Fresco, especially when it crashed last night, like it crashed, and I thought I lost all my progress. Like, that was a thing. That was terrifying. So I was like, I need a break, and plus I need to stop streaming until 3 AM in the morning, because but yeah, anyway, I keep saying goodbye. Alright, well, you're loved, guys. Thank you for hanging out. I'll be back on later tonight with doing an art stream, and look for the card reading, because I will do one. I probably will do one in the car. Ooh, I'm gonna do a car one, because when I don't get it done at my normal content time, I try to do it in the car. So it'll be a car reading, so look out for that later. Collective read in the car. Bye guys, thank you so much.